Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world: movies, movie news, TV, streaming, all sorts of urethra, get to the...
How dare you?
Wow. Goodness, of course, if you saw the video we put up yesterday, sitting over here, joining us for all of this fun, writer, director, producer. He's the producer of Agent Cody Banks, ladies and gentlemen, Robert Meyer Burnett. How you doing, Robert?
John, I'm going to say something that's really shocking. People already think that I'm being held hostage. This week's episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds
Oh, dear.
is the best episode of modern Star Trek, and it might very well be the best Star Trek since the penultimate two-part episode of Enterprise back in 2005, Demons in Terra Prime.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
It had a compelling story. It involved the entire crew. It had a moral conundrum. It dealt with things like the Prime Directive. It had romance and sexy time. I mean, it had everything you want. I was absolutely floored by this episode. Now, I have nitpicks, but you know what, John? I never thought that I would see a day come when I would embrace modern Star Trek wholeheartedly. Now, at least for this week.
Because you got Orville now, too.
I got Orville now. I haven't caught up with the second episode. Quite enjoyed the first. But this episode of Strange New Worlds, if they can keep these kinds of stories, we might have something.
Well, where is Robert Meyer Burnett? And
See, everyone's like the great Robert hostage crisis has begun. I was not bamboozled. I was not paid off.
Says,
I am not a shill. No.
And, of course, sitting beside the Robert Meyer Burnett impersonator, we've got Chris Carr. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm great. Just to make sure everyone knows that I'm the real Chris, I still hate Morbius. I don't know what's going on over here, but...
Sitting over here, lover of all things moon-related. He's going to be joining you guys in the live chat here. Ray Orr is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
And, of course, beside him, running the show today, producer Jonathan Voico. Jonathan, good to have you here.
Good morning. Good morning.
And it is good to have all of you guys here. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it down into two parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. How do you get a live comment or question on the show? That's easy. Number one, you got to be watching live. Then secondly, once we get to the end of the main topics, I will announce that we're opening up the super chats. You'll have about 2 minutes to get them fired in there because they do fill up fast. Send in your thoughts, comments, opinions, questions, and theories, and we will get to those in the second half of the show. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget, if you need your audio-only version of the John Campea Show, you can go to your podcast feed. Just go onto your favorite podcasting app of choice, search for the John Campea Show, and subscribe to the show so it's there when you need it. And by the way, we've got a second podcast feed for Mailbag. Just go and search for Mailbag, a John Campea Show podcast, and you should be able to find that there as well. Also, it's game day.
Game
We
day.
got the boys. It's on tonight, making its return. And tomorrow, we're going to have the boys after show at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am not going to be on it tomorrow, though. I'm not going to be there.
Instead, it's going to be the diabolical duo.
It's Robert Meyer Burnett and what's it? I keep Denicio.
What's my name?
Christy Denicio.
Oh, okay.
Christy Denicio.
John, this is weird. Okay, my alter ego,
The
Christy
alter
Denicio.
ego, Christy
It's a
Denicio.
soup goop
It's
after
gonna be a-
show special.
These two will be hosting the boys after show tomorrow because I'm going to be in Las Vegas tomorrow. So yeah, there's a little bit of that. That's one of the nice things about having a new studio. I don't have to be here every day. Anyway, guys, we hope you will join us for that. Okay, guys, that all down. Let's get into some stuff here. And we're going to start off with an off the top, which is this. You know, they came out of the gates with Get Out. And Get Out caught the world by storm, right? It was creative, it was intense, and it just showed what a guy like Jordan Peele and his storytelling sensibilities they could do. Amazing. And the world was waiting, what's he going to do next? And then he did Us, which I'm not going to lie to you, I found to be disappointing, especially coming off of the brilliance of Get Out. I thought Us was a really creative idea, a world-class performance by Lupita Nyong'o, all that kind of stuff, but still... And you had M'Baku in there. You had Winston. No, is it Winston Duke? Yeah. You had Winston Duke in there. I love him.
So wonderful.
But it was a little convoluted, whatever. But we've all been looking forward to Nope. The trailers have been great. we saw some extra stuff at CinemaCon that they didn't reveal to the world yet, but they have now because a brand new trailer for Nope has dropped. And it actually gives us now what the basic idea and plot of the movie is. And it's great. Now, this comes to us from the folks over at The Hollywood Reporter who wrote the following. Nope dropped its final trailer on Thursday, and it's far more clear just what is in store for audiences this summer. Written and directed by Oscar winner Jordan Peele, the Universal science fiction horror film is most definitely about aliens. That was the assumption from the initial looks at the film, but the previous trailers were so vague, it was not entirely certain given how brilliant of a storyteller Peele has proven himself to be with Get Out and Us. Now then they go on to say the final Nope trailer more clearly explains that the characters played by Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya are being tormented by at least one UFO at their horse training ranch for Hollywood Productions. The two decide they are going to get footage of the UFO and make some big bucks off the proof. I love the premise of this movie. I absolutely love, like, because you could have gone straight shot horror with this, right? It's like aliens are coming. You could have done something like a what was the M. Night movie again? Signs. They could have they could have tried to go the Signs route and stuff like that. But instead, they're going to put some personality into it, because I fell in love with Kiki's character in the initial trailers and everything, talking about the history of the horse ranch and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
To me, this sounds great. I am even more excited now for this film than I was before. Rob, you had a chance to see the trailer. What do you think about it?
Well, first of all, the whole tone of the trailer, the way they change up the music in the middle, and this trailer really makes me smile. And I just love the idea that, aliens might be here, but let's make a little profit, a little cheddar. I thought that's a great idea. I think my favorite thing about the trailer, though, is Michael Wincott is one of my favorite underutilized actors. He was the villain in The Crow. He was in Oliver Stone's Talk Radio, and he looks to be the director they hire in the movie within Nope to shoot the footage of whatever the aliens are. And normally he's always had. Oh, he was also in Strange Days as Philo Gant. I mean, I love Mike. He does not work enough, and that Jordan Peele hired Michael Wincott. He knows. He knows. Good on you, Jordan Peele, because I can't wait to see this movie.
Chris, you had a chance to see this. Now, we saw a bunch of this at CinemaCon, but still, watching it again in the new context, what do you think about it?
Oh, gosh, I'm so hyped for this movie. And Jordan Peele is a horror director, too, who I run to the theater to go see.
And you do not do that for horror films.
I do not. I absolutely do not. And I have an Aaron Cummings kind of reaction to stuff where I have to grab somebody and, I'll punch them if I get too scared. I'm so fun to sit next to, you guys. But this looks fantastic. And one of my favorite actors in the world, Steven Yeun, is in this. And I love him so much. I think he is just so underutilized, and I've loved seeing him pop up in more and more things.
Yep.
He's an incredible voice actor. He's an incredible on-camera actor, and so I'm really excited to see what he brings to this universe too, because we got a little bit more of him in this trailer.
I also like how, I think the great directors have a stable of actors that they work with.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Daniel Kaluuya and Get Out, and to see him come back and they're working together, I like that. Maybe Daniel Kaluuya is going to be Jordan Peele's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, I'd love
the way that Martin Scorsese and Leonardo did 6 films together.
Well, he's got one Academy Award nomination. He's going to have 3 or 4 probably by the end of the next decade.
Probably.
Ray, I know you've been looking forward to Nope.
Yeah, it's my most anticipated.
It is your most actually it has been your most anticipated movie. So now that you've seen the new trailer, is it still your most anticipated movie?
Yes, it is. I have a little bias because Daniel Kaluuya, he looks like my best friend in 7th and 8th grade. Shout out to Mark Mitchell.
What's up, Mark?
He moved to Compton in the summer. And speaking of Compton, this movie takes place in California, which is cool. I didn't know that. IMDb says it's a California ranch.
Yeah, because they train horses for the movies.
So that's really cool to me. Aliens. We saw a shot of the moon where the clouds open up.
Here we go.
That's where I said, okay, am I going to order 2 tickets? 2 showings now? No. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the twist is. There's going to be a twist, right?
Oh, for sure.
Right? But there's so many possibilities of what it could be. I can't wait. And hopefully no one spoils it, please. If you've seen it, see it early. Don't spoil it for everybody. Let us all get a chance to see it.
All right, guys.
Nope. We're the internet.
It's true. All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about the new trailer for Nope? We thought it looked great. Are you excited about the film? Are you more excited for it now? Maybe it didn't do it for you. Whatever your guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move into our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics on the John Campea Show? Well, it's easy. You guys come up with them. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic here on the show, just go anytime 24/7 to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
Our first topic is coming from Landon Wodash. Hey, John and crew. As I'm writing this, it's 11 p.m. Central Time, and the Lightyear first reactions are just now dropping. The reactions so far are fantastic. I've been out of my mind excited for this film, and now I'm even more excited. What are your thoughts on this? Have a great day.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, man. And yeah, look, we went to CinemaCon 5-6 weeks ago. I can't remember how long ago it was now. And they was the first 30, right?
30, yeah.
They showed us. The Disney presentation starts, and the guy, president of the film division, comes out and goes, oh yeah, we're going to show you the first full half hour of Lightyear. And we're like, what? Really? And then they played the first half hour. And I made this statement after we saw it. I said that Lightyear will be the fourth animated film in history to be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. And I said that just based on the first 30. Hey, look, for all I know, it goes to complete shit after that.
Yep.
I have no idea. I don't know for sure. But what I do know is this, is if the following, hour and whatever minutes after what we saw are as good as what we saw, this movie's going to be nominated for Best Picture. We were howling laughing. Everybody was crying. Mm-hmm. The basic story premise is great. There's a little bit of Interstellar, a little Christopher Nolan interstellarism in there. Mm-hmm. I mean, and Chris Evans stepping in for Tim Allen to do the voice of Lightyear, never missed a beat. I remember when they first announced this movie and they said Chris Evans was going to do it. I love Chris Evans. We thought, man, it's just going to stand out to us so much that it's not Tim Allen doing the voice. Nope, not a problem. It's not a problem at all. And now they did a screening of it, and the first reactions are coming out, and it sounds like it is going to be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Shannon Williams writes, Lightyear is out of this world, fantastic, a fun and heartfelt film that revived my childhood nostalgia while taking me on a new epic sci-fi journey. Chris Evans does a great job taking over the mantle of Buzz Lightyear, and Socks is my favorite Pixar character and completely stole the show. Listen, you know what I believe. There should be exterminator companies for cats.
No.
I do not like cats.
No.
I think they're horrible. They are a plague on the world. That being said, my God, Socks the cat in this movie is going to sell toys like Baby Yoda. This cat steals the show. This little robot cat completely steals the show. And that's coming from me. So, I mean, yeah, you are going to love Socks. In just a half hour, became like an all-star. Kristen wrote, as a big Toy Story fan, I was originally a bit skeptical about the idea of Lightyear, but director Agnes McLean proved me wrong and delivered. He knocks it out of the park with a gorgeous love letter to sci-fi epics that will surprise even the biggest fans of the franchise. Ben Kendrick, a friend of ours, writes, Lightyear is exactly what Pixar fans likely expected. It's fun, it's exciting, it's one of the most visually stunning films in their portfolio. Still, the most impressive accomplishment is introducing us to a new Buzz that is both familiar and yet entirely fresh. Rachel Lynchman writes, at one point in Lightyear, a perfect movie. At one point in Lightyear, a perfect movie, Buzz course corrects a ship with his thighs, and I will be thinking about it for the rest of my life. That must have come after the half hour. Liam Crowley writes, Lightyear is the family adventure the summer movie season has been missing. Moves at light speed and is riddled with that famous Pixar complexity. Chris Evans is charming lead, but his sidekick is the scene stealer. He is. Left with the biggest smile. What more can you ask for? And guys, it goes on and on and on. Now, we just covered the first reactions for Jurassic World Dominion. And everybody came out of that movie going, yeah, not so good. Several people, like our friend Scott Mance, even come out and said, this is the worst film they've ever done. I mean, so it's kind of nice now to come into a first reaction for a movie that people are coming out and like, oh my God, this is one of the greatest things you're ever going to see. And all it does for me is it excites me more. Again, that first 30 minutes has stuck with me. I have thought more about the first 30 minutes of that movie than almost any movie I have seen since that time. It was absolutely remarkable. we saw the full screening of Top Gun Maverick. And you guys know how much I like Top Gun Maverick. The first 30 minutes of Lightyear are better than Top Gun Maverick. I mean, it's just nutty good. Anyway, Chris, you saw the first 30 minutes as me. You've read all the reactions that are coming out here. What's your response to
I
this?
cried real hard next to you during this.
You did. She was like, I'm like looking over and I'm like, are you okay?
No,
He's like,
I'm not okay. This is beautiful and I hate it. This movie, gosh, I'm so happy that Acts 2 and 3 are delivering because I loved what we saw at CinemaCon. And, you know, Pixar does deliver. They really do. And I'm so happy with everyone's performance in this. I mean, one, Rob said this before, it's a great sci-fi film in itself. It's not, you know, just a animated Pixar film. It is a fantastic sci-fi story with wonderful sci-fi elements in it that are going to get kids excited about STEM, which is really fun to me. The voice acting is incredible because a lot of times, I mean, we've seen this with Marvel's What If and other shows. Sometimes when you have on-camera actors, they phone in the voice acting. It sounds real bad. Chris Evans does a beautiful job in this. Pixar always hires directors who get the most out of their actors, even if they are on-camera people. But man, he does such a great job to the point where it makes sense where now Tim Allen in canon is the sound-alike who was hired to be this character.
That's right.
Which is so cool and so meta. Socks is perfect. He should be protected at all costs. I can't wait for other people to see this film. I can't wait to go see this multiple times.
Rob, you were there with I remember when the end of the 30 minutes, and the whole theater was like, wait, what? Why is it stopping? Like we were all, but you and I looked at each other and we were like, that was fucking good. I mean, like, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, you know, to echo the sentiments of both of you, I too, it's completely unexpected. You know, when I cry in movies, and it hasn't been that many. I mean, I cried at the end of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan when Kirk got choked up.
Yeah.
When Nettie shows up at the end of Color Purple, you know, comes back from Africa and they're out there and the things are waving and I was like, I lost it. But I wasn't expecting to cry in those movies. Like the emotion that they've generated in me over the course of the story, suddenly it's almost like a spark on gasoline. I did not expect to have an emotional crying response in this movie. Totally earned. It was based out of story and character and the situation. And it was a situation that you had to understand from a science fiction perspective. And when it was going on, dude, same kind of thing. I literally involuntary. I couldn't have, and it wasn't, I was just like you. Water was pouring. It was like Princess Aura in Flash Gordon when she says to Ming, she goes, "Look, water is leaking from her eyes," and Ming says, "They call them tears, a sign of their weakness." I mean, I felt just like that. I'm like, Ming is judging me right now because I was just.
Somebody make that shirt. Ming judges you,
and then you know what else? Then you start realizing you get self-conscious. Like, are people looking at me because my shirt is soaking wet now? Yeah. But again, like this film is so wonderful. It's so beautifully designed. The homage to the Ares 1B in 2001. People are like, what? It's a spaceship. You'll notice. It's so gorgeous, and the characterizations are so great, and the way it works in the Toy Story universe is pretty brilliant. I mean, from the very beginning, it tells you. But I can't wait to see the rest of this movie.
Now, what year did Toy Story come out? The original Toy Story?
5?
So it was basically the movie starts with a black screen and then these words superimposed on. In 1995, Andy, whatever the kid's last name is, was given a Buzz Lightyear toy based on a popular movie. This is that movie. And everybody in the theater was like, oh, I see what they're doing here. Ray, what did you think?
I'm going to go completely opposite of you guys. I do not want to see this movie.
What?
You know, I haven't been so Pixar lately. I only seen Toy Story 1, maybe a part of 2. But it's only because, okay, this movie, it got me emotional too. But I know there's going to be another part like that. And I was exhausted after seeing the first 30 minutes of this film. I was like, I don't want to have to go through that twice or 3 times throughout the movie. This thing is going to be really good. I have no doubt. I just, it already took everything from me in the first 30 minutes.
So we're gonna make Ray see this and get his out of theater reaction for sure now. By the way, I've been having people asking me because they've heard a lot about the emotionalism in it. People say, is it as emotional as the opening of Up? Which of course is like one of the most purely emotional things I've ever seen in cinema. And I'd say this, it's not quite on that level, but it's reminiscent of it.
Yes.
And
it is in the same vein.
It's in the same vein. That's a really good way to put it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Have you been looking forward to Lightyear? You see the out of the theater reactions coming now. They are all absolutely through the roof. Are you excited for it? Maybe it's not your thing. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, before we move on, we're going to take a second here and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode, the good folks at Liquid IV. We want to take a minute and thank the sponsors of this video, Liquid IV. Now listen, just one stick of Liquid IV added to 16 ounces of water will hydrate you faster and more efficiently than just water alone. It contains 5 essential vitamins like B3, B5, B6, B12, and of course vitamin C with 3 times the electrolytes as traditional sports drinks. And what makes Liquid IV so effective is the science of cellular transport technology, or CTT. You see, it's designed to enhance rapid absorption of water and other key ingredients into your bloodstream faster and more efficiently. You know, Ann and I get up pretty early in the morning to go to the gym because we can't go to the gym at any other time during the day. And for the last couple of weeks, I have been drinking 1 full glass of water with Liquid IV. And all I can tell you is you can feel the difference during the workout. So go and grab Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code Campea at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you use the promo code Campea, that's C-A-M-P-E-A, at liquidiv.com. Experience better hydration today when you go to liquidiv.com, and remember, use the promo code at checkout, Campea. And thank you to the folks at Liquid IV for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Remember, guys, when you support our sponsors, you're actually supporting us. Go down to the description of this video, near the top, you'll see a link to all of our sponsors and the promo codes. And again, thanks to Liquid IV for being a sponsor today. All right, guys, with that down, let's move into main topic number 2. Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This one comes from Proton Stream, which of course you should never cross them. Hey, John and crew. Yesterday was Ghostbusters Day, and a ton of announcements were made about the future of the franchise. Most importantly, it was announced that Jason Reitman and Gil Keenan are officially working on a new live-action film that will presumably serve as a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife. As a lifelong Ghostbusters fan, I absolutely loved Afterlife and can't wait to see what they've got planned for the franchise. What do you think of these announcements? Are you interested in more Ghostbusters projects?
All right. So, yeah, they had like a Ghostbusters Day, made a bunch of announcements. Let me cover a couple of smaller things here. So, first, there is an animated movie coming that's going to be with a bunch of new characters. So they talked about this new Ghostbusters animated movie that they got coming. They've also got an animated series coming that they're working on. Now, when I read that, I got a little choked up because one of the last things that John Schnepp had kind of been connected to was he was working with Sony. He was in talks with Sony to direct the Ghostbusters animated series. And I think now a friend of his, the guy who was one of the founders of Titmouse, is now going to be kind of shepherding that. So when I heard about that and I saw it, I'm going to admit, I got a little bit choked up. Main story here, though, is Jason Reitman doing the next Ghostbusters film. They're moving it back to Manhattan, back into the firehouse, and it's actually right now their working title is Ghostbusters Firehouse. So the family is moving out of the farm, going back in the city and stuff like this. Listen, speaking of CinemaCon, not at this most recent one like a month and a half ago, but it was last CinemaCon, like a year ago, when me and Aaron Cummings were there in the audience, and Jason Reitman and his dad, rest in peace, the great Ivan Reitman, were on stage together talking about how excited they were to bring the new Ghostbusters to theaters. And then they said, as a matter of fact, we're going to show you the whole movie right now. And all of us were like, what? And they played Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I was delighted by it. I mean, is it as good as the original Ghostbusters? No. Beats the living crap out of Ghostbusters 2, but not as good as the original. But still, it was delightful. Paul Rudd was great in it. The younger cast were really solid, especially Egon's granddaughter. I mean, she
She's great.
That kid was great.
And she sings the closing credits song.
Yes, that's right. She does that as
Yeah.
well. So it was a delight, a lot of fun, pleasant surprise. And Jason Reitman is like, seriously, one of my favorite directors. Not only is he a good Canadian kid, but you're talking about movies like Up in the Air, which Juno, Thank You for Smoking
So
is
good.
like such an underrated treasure of a movie. And now he's got this one, which was fantastic. I love that they're moving forward because listen, Sony put this thing out in theaters when it was still very hard to put a movie in theaters because of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. And Sony looked at the box office results and said, and they looked at it the right way. They's like, are these great numbers for normal circumstances? No. But we think this was a really good result given the circumstances, and we believe in this franchise, and they're doing another one. I, for one, am very excited to see where it goes. Anyway, Rob, you heard all these announcements. Ghostbusters, Firehouse, they may change the title later, but what do you think about it?
Well, look, I enjoyed Afterlife too. I thought it was a little nostalgia drenched, but I thought it was.
Oh, it absolutely was.
It was good, and they did it for a price. It wasn't a hugely costly movie, and I think it really showed how you can. For me, it's the best kind of a sequel, where it's a very different kind of a story. They went to a very different location, which in itself really changed the feel of it all. I thought the film was definitely a worthy sequel. I really enjoyed the fact that it was so different. I was intrigued by the story, and I loved the cast. I thought the cast was great. I thought it was a terrific film, and it like you pointed out, it was a good result for the time, and Sony's looking at it going, and clearly it's probably done very well on home video and very well on streaming or video on demand. So they're looking at all kinds of numbers. The aggregate number there is probably something like, let's make another one of these. And, especially in the wake of 80s nostalgia, obviously Ghostbusters to me captures, it's 1984, it's smack dab in the center of the 80s. And when we have things like Stranger Things and including some of the same cast members of the show.
That's right.
I mean, we're now in a place where I think that the people that are handling Ghostbusters, because it's now a legacy franchise, you have the son succeeding the father in actually making it. I think, why not? Bring on the Ghostbusters. Who doesn't love Ghostbusters? I mean, John, after Top Gun Maverick, at this point, you can reboot anything. I want to see Adventures in Babysitting too.
Friggin' love Adventures in Babysitting.
Thor's in it.
Well,
Yeah.
why am I freezing on her name from Karate Kid?
Hilary Swank.
Oh, yeah.
Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue.
Shue.
Why, was she not in Adventures in Babysitting?
Yeah.
She was, right?
yeah.
And of course, she was
she's the
great in The
babysitter.
Boys season 1.
Oh, my
Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
she's
She was so good.
incredible.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chris, you hear about this news? Are you down for another Ghostbusters?
Heckin' yes, I am. Oh my gosh, I loved Afterlife. And it was nostalgia soaked, but in a way that worked for me. Same way for Top Gun, where that didn't resonate for me. Ghostbusters, it ticked all the boxes for me, including just having jars of spores for Egon. Like, come on. Those little details. I'm smacking my husband the whole time, like, do you see it? He's like, I didn't watch this as a kid. I don't know what you're talking about. My gateway.
married him?
I know. Well, this was after we were married, Rob, and you can only have so many marriages. I'm not Liz Taylor.
Oh, well.
Right? So
Oh, is that a rule?
my gateway drug to Ghostbusters were the animated series. There was a really cringy to look back on 1997 show called Extreme Ghostbusters. And once I started watching that, which was swiftly canceled after a season, my dad went, oh my gosh, you know what you should watch that's actually good? And then introduced me to these films. So like I have this real wonderful like father-daughter connection to the movies. So watching, the son take over the franchise too was real beautiful for me and personal for me. And I can't wait to see what else they do
I
here.
like that.
All right, guys, question is for you. What did you think about Ghostbusters Afterlife? And now it is official. They are moving ahead with the sequel to it. The family's moving away from the farmhouse, back into Manhattan, the home of the Ghostbusters. Are you excited about it? Maybe you weren't all that big on the Afterlife. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic. What are we on now? Three?
Three.
Yeah.
Main topic number 3. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
This one comes from Clavel. I think it's safe to say The Mandalorian is still the gold standard when it comes to Star Wars TV. The first 2 seasons have been amazing, and the ending of season 2 is one of the best moments in TV history to me. Did you see the article where the cast of the show are saying that the new season is the darkest and best yet? What do you think that tells us about where the show is going? Do you think it can live up to that promise?
All right, thanks for sending that in, Clavel. And yeah, look, The Mandalorian, I don't think there's any debate. I mean, everybody can have a lot of different opinions about it, but I really don't think there's a lot of debate here. The Mandalorian, he's right. is the gold standard of Star Wars television. Even season 2, who everybody changed their damn tune on season 2 once the Luke Skywalker thing happened at the end, right? Because in the first half of season 1, I heard a lot of bitching. I heard a lot of whining and complaining. Oh, it's this, doing this. I'm like, guys, this is an homage to the old Western. This is the gunfighter going through the West. Every episode is supposed to be its own little self-contained story. My God, that episode with the frickin' ice spiders, I love that episode, but I heard so many people complaining about it. But I thought even better than season 1, and they're moving through it. And then people started to get on board with it a little bit, and then that final episode happened. And yeah, the internet blew up when Luke Skywalker shows up. And then all of a sudden everybody was complaining about season 2. This is the best season ever. But whatever got you on the train, welcome aboard. There was a lot of room, but it is the gold standard. But it left some really interesting things. The whole story about Mandalore. We heard a lot of references to the things Moff Gideon did, but really what are these travesties that we're going to see? Of course, we've got the whole story of Bo-Katan going on, and how's that? And now there's drama between Bo-Katan and Din because he's got the Darksaber and he can't just give it to her, even though he wants to. Not allowed to take it from him. She's got to beat him to take it from him. So all this hanging drama. So it's not surprising to hear them say, yeah, they're going to up the drama in this. This comes to us from the folks over at Joe Blow, who write the following. There is even 3, talking about season 3, is even better than the previous ones, Pedro Pascal teased. It's safe to say that you're going to love it, Carl Weathers added, that The Mandalorian season 3 will feel fuller and have a lot more heft. It's so dense with so much action, but also character. Giancarlo Esposito said that the new episodes will be larger than ever, and it's just an expansion in many ways of last season. It's a great season that has great ideas, great teasing, and great tips for the future. Not to be left out, Katie Sackhoff, of course, from my all-time favorite television show, Battlestar Galactica, had just a single word when asked to describe the vibe of the 3rd season. And she said, dark. And that comes to us from the folks over at Joe Blow. Now, once again, let's point out, actors saying their thing is good. Okay, okay, we get that. But with all the stuff that we just talked about, like, we can kind of sense where season 3 has to go. They've got to go back to Mandalore. And even in the Book of Boba Fett, they kind of set up that Din's journey needs to take him back to Mandalore to revive his honor now, right? So all roads were leading to Mandalore anyway. So it seems like that's where they're heading. And everything looks really good. I don't know what just happened there, but that was pretty funky. So everything's heading back to Mandalore. And I expect things to get dark. I expect to see a lot of what the atrocities were done. And I expect to see a lot of drama here. So this is, again, actors saying their thing is really good. Okay, but still, it's good to hear. Rob, you hear these comments. What are you expecting out of season 3 of Mandalorian?
Well, as I said, I mean, I really liked that show. I thought it got better and better and better as it went along. That Bill Burr episode when he confronts the Imperial officer is amazing. Yeah. And, I also have to judge things by the Hot Toys aggregate. I think that there have been more Hot Toys figures made from the Mandalorian than just about anything else. They just came out with a Moff Gideon figure. I mean, I never thought in my life I would really be eager to buy a Giancarlo Esposito action figure, but here we are.
Now you probably have 3.
I got to get a Gus Fring, and now if they make if they make Carl Weathers, then hey, we're doing well. But I think the show's been a lot of fun. It's been, like you pointed out, John, the fact that they leaned into their episodic nature of the old Westerns, like Have Gun Will Travel or something like that, really, I think, made the show a lot of fun. And obviously the reintroduction of Boba Fett happened in it, and they keep giving us the supporting cast that they've been building out are really interesting, having Dave Filoni's influence from Clone Wars and things like that, and Rebels, injecting a lot of these storylines into the show to sort of make everything canonical, has made it a lot of fun. And who isn't looking forward to season 3 after that ending?
And John Favreau.
Even I, the old man with the hard heart, when Luke Skywalker shows up, come on, man. I mean, who didn't feel like a 10-year-old? I was 10 when I first met Luke Skywalker, but that was awesome.
Chris, you had a chance to read these comments and stuff like that. What do you take away from this?
Oh man, I'm hyped for this to be darker. I love this show so much, and I do think it's the gold standard of what Star Wars is, right? No matter how you feel about these shows, I know a lot of people too are like, The Mandalorian's overrated, and I feel those people are just trying to be edgy, because objectively, even if you don't like the story, this is beautiful filmmaking or television making, right? They're mini movies. They're gorgeous to look at. This show handles B plots and sub characters better than anything I've ever seen. It handles them so well without detracting from our main through line, which is this is the story of a single dad in space. It's really what it is. And what I think is interesting is no one's touching on what I assume is going to be the darkest storyline. We saw how Grogu acts when his papa and the internet's papa gets strangled or hurt or maimed.
Right.
He loses his shit now. And he is not going the way of the Jedi, it seems. So how do you handle something so powerful that is no longer having that sort of guidance, but only has familial guidance now? We've seen how that can go astray with other people who are Jedi and how they've let down their families. How's that going to work here for this chosen family?
Now, but, you know, in Grogu's defense, you know, like once he knocks out the Rancor,
Then they cuddle.
cuddles up to it. Yeah,
then
then
they
he cuddles with her,
Then
right?
they're sweet little babies. However,
And by the way, he's eating the children of Frog Lady. Like
Yeah.
poor Frog Lady who's just trying to have offspring.
he's an adorable menace.
He's an adorable
But I mean, if
murderer.
Moff Gideon comes after him, if Bo-Katan starts fighting him for the Darksaber, is Grogu going to understand that, hey, this is just dad fighting with a friend so they can get their rightful place on a throne?
It's like when they walk in on Mommy and Daddy.
Exactly.
They're
They're
just
just wrestling. Don't worry about it. You know, how's this all going to pan out?
By the way, are we finally going to see in season 3 how the hell he got out of the Jedi Temple?
Yeah.
Like
I
that
think
is
so.
still like, but I thought that before. I thought we were okay. Now we're going to find out how to get out of the Jedi Temple. I really hope we get that in season 3. I actually, with the opening of Obi-Wan, I kind of thought maybe we might find out in Obi-Wan how Baby Yoda got out.
They light
But
a fire and then they can't get to it.
that's
so there's
right.
a
The
fire.
Force, the Vader, Anakin cannot work through fire. That settles all that. All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? We're hearing this is better than the previous seasons. That it's got more heft, more depth, and according to Katie Sackhoff, it's darker. Are you excited for season 3? Do you think maybe this series is running out of steam? Maybe you took a little wind out of your sails after watching Book of Boba Fett. Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, we want to take another second here and thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show. These are guys I've used for years now. I've used them on my editorial videos. I even use them on my own documentary. They're great folks over at Storyblocks. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Storyblocks. Guys, I have been an enthusiastic fan and user of Storyblocks for years. I go to them whenever I'm in need of content creation assets like royalty-free music, video clips, or templates for my creative projects, ranging anywhere from little editorial videos to my very own full-feature documentary. Storyblocks helps you bring your stories, videos, and projects to life without sacrifices due to time, budget, or access to resources. They have over 1 million different story assets ranging from stock videos, audio and music, an in-browser video editor, and they feature pre-designed templates, animations, and outros. Storyblocks uses an affordable subscription model, and their unlimited access plans offers, well, unlimited video and audio downloads rather than a costly pay-per-clip model. With Storyblocks, you'll be able to create more content and, more importantly, better content, all while using a subscription plan that fits your budget, utilizing unlimited downloads of demand-driven and diverse content. So if you're interested in upping your content creation game, head over to www.storyblocks.com/Campea and get started today. That's www.storyblocks.com/Campea. And thank you to the folks at Storyblocks for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move into main topic number 4. Chris, what is our 4th main topic today?
This is from Box Office Fan. As crazy as it sounds, Jurassic World has dropped from 88 to 39 in one day, getting some pretty bad reviews. Will this hurt the film's longtime box office? With Top Gun out and Lightyear and Minions around the corner, will this film be hurt, or will the film still do well even with the bad reviews?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Box Office Fan. And yeah, so I remember I think we were doing a mailbag, you and I, and somebody wrote in and said, I'm hearing some pretty bad things coming out of Jurassic World Dominion. I said, well, I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes right now. It's holding an 88. I mean, there wasn't a ton of reviews in there yet, but I said, let's see what happens once we see the movie, right? Now, I was supposed to go to a Jurassic World screening the other night. Unfortunately, my wife had COVID. She had tested positive. I had tested negative, but I thought, maybe it's not a good idea to go into a theater with like 300 or 400 people. Even if I'm testing negative, I'd been exposed. All right, so I didn't go, right? Turns out I might have saved myself a drive. Because we talked about on the show the other day, the initial reactions coming out of that screening, and they were not good. They were not good at all. And yeah, now I've never seen a rating go from 88 to a 38. And here's the thing, though, big day. Jurassic World Dominion is now the lowest critically rated film of the entire Jurassic franchise. Well done, guys.
How did we do it?
You gotta go for something right, and you go hard if you're gonna go.
Life finds a way.
Finds a way. Okay, so check this out. If we look at the history here, so Jurassic Park, obviously the gold standard of all the Jurassic films, one of the greatest classic films of all time, 92%. Then we got into The Lost World, which took a serious drop down to 53. Then to Jurassic Park 3, which went down to 49. Then the first Jurassic World was a rebound. Made a ton of money, and it had a 71% critic rating. Not as many people liked Jurassic World. What was the name of the second one again? Fallen Kingdom. You know what? I don't care. Named. I did not mind Fallen Kingdom. I had an okay time with it. I did, but only less than half of the people agreed with me because it got a 47%. But now, by far, the lowest critically rated of all the Jurassic World movies, all the Jurassic movies, 38%.
Can I ask you guys something? If there's a restaurant and it was 88%, and then the next day you looked at it, it was 33%, would you eat there?
No.
Yeah.
I've seen that in WeHo, where it's been, this had A, and then you go back and it's a D, and you go, oh, no. I'm not eating this ramen.
That's exactly
can I just tell you
point.
one of the greatest things I've ever seen?
Yes.
So you know how the restaurants are required to put up their what's the name of the grade, but whatever the grade is, like A or B, right? In St. Louis, a restaurant had a D.
Nice.
And they hung it up in the window, but then they put other letters up in the window that spelt out Go Cards and just fit the D into cards. And so they were following the rules. They were exhibiting.
I feel like it'd be so much easier to just clean your restaurant.
You'd think it would be less effort just to break out a broom.
Have some running water in the place.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, okay, so we've got a mess of a movie on our hands. By the way, I say that a little bit tongue in cheek because, again, I haven't seen it yet. I skipped the screening. So for all I know, I'm going to go watch it, and I'm going to be one of the 38% that liked it, maybe. But on the surface, it looks like we've got a bit of a mess here. It's not going to have that big of an impact on its opening weekend because people had already bought their tickets, right? Where this will have an impact is second weekend. Because if the general audience finds itself in unison with the critics here and saying, yeah, this isn't good, then they're, number one, they're not going to go back a second time, which means when they go back a second time, they're not bringing new people with them to see it. And they're not going to tell their friends to go and see it. And actually, the opposite is going to happen. We're going to start getting a warning going out that save your money, don't go see the Jurassic World. So I'm still expecting to see a big opening weekend. Now, whether big opening weekend means 200 million or whether it means 125 million, I don't know. But I'm expecting a big opening weekend. But it sounds like it's then going to stumble a lot. I'm going to go out on a limb right now. Big risk here, going way out there. Jurassic World Dominion will not be the next billion-dollar film, which it very well could have been. I mean, it was poised to be the first billion-dollar film of 2022. It could have been. The other films have been. And if they had crushed this one out of the park, I would have said, yeah, if the reviews and everything were great, I'd say, yeah, it will. But it doesn't sound like it. Anyway, Rob, lowest critically rated of all the Jurassic films in history. What's your thoughts on this, and how will this affect its overall business success?
You know, I've been reading the reviews, and I've gleaned a little bit about what the movie's about, and it sounds like it's really convoluted. They had one job, John. All they had to do was show dinosaurs all over the world eating people. That's it. That's all we want to see. And we want to see our characters from the first part of the franchise and the later part of the franchise. There they are. We want to see them teaming up and stopping dinosaurs from eating people. That's it. That is this franchise. Talking about genetic engineering and corporate interests and all this other. No, the dinosaurs have been unleashed. They're out in the world. Show us that. You know, they show some of that, like a pterodactyl going after an airplane. That's great. That's all I want to see. Why they have to overcomplicate this process? I mean, the first Jurassic Park does it perfectly. Here's the premise. Here's Richard Attenborough. I've harnessed the power that I shouldn't have harnessed. Ian Malcolm's like, just because you could doesn't mean you should. And then the dinosaurs eat people. And that's your franchise, man. And in this case, the entire planet Earth is a smorgasbord of humans to eat. And that's what I want to see. Just take me around. It'll be like going to like one of those foods represented. You just get to eat a little bit. Chinese, Italian. That's what I wanted to see. And they have to turn it into some kind of corporate, convoluted. Even look, I cried when I watched this trailer. There's that one shot. Maybe not cried like I cried in Lightyear or Star Trek 2.
Right.
Color
You got
Purple
emotional watching
or
that
Amelie.
trailer.
But yeah, I got emotional. And I'm like, there was dinosaurs on the Great Plains with dudes on horsebacks. You know,
riding beside them.
Riding beside them. The sun is setting. I mean, this is America now. Dinosaurs and horses. And I was like, that's what I want to see. And so why is it that I'm reading what this plot's about? I mean, they go meet Ian Malcolm and he's giving a speech. Like Jeff Goldblum's giving a speech, and that's how the characters all meet together because they all went and saw his speech. I'm like, who thought that was a good idea?
I think that's a good idea. I love Malcolm's speeches. I go hear Malcolm's
speech. But if he's
speech.
going to give a speech, put him out in front of, like, I don't know, at the Vatican with the Pope talking about how God wants dinosaurs back or something like that. I don't know. I mean,
put him in his leather pants, just Burt Reynolds thing near the
that's
Pope.
exactly right. I read what this was about, and look, I'm going to go see it because since I was a kid, I love dinosaurs, and I want it to be good. And I'm sure that there's enough dinosaur action that I'll walk out and go, all right. 38%, John.
Yeah.
Once again, you know what's great? Now Star Trek is good this week, so I can bitch about something else.
Chris, you're seeing this. Are you surprised? Does it take the wind out of your sails to see it? Where were you before hearing these reviews? What do you think?
I'm slightly surprised. I'm not super surprised. I mean, Jonathan off camera was talking about this too. Well, the last few films haven't been great. So it's just surprising that the one that's supposed to be ending it all, right, is this bad. Like my esteemed colleague here, I'm still going to go see it because there's raptors at the Vatican. And I love that kind of stuff. That's very exciting. I think this is a movie, though, that you go into with a Moonfall mentality, right?
And 4DX.
Yeah. And 4DX. My chair's going to be shaking. I'm going to be running with those raptors. Hopefully some people get eaten. I like when they talk about the genetic stuff, but that's because that's neat to me. But
it's neat to me, too, in the first movie in 1993.
That's fair. That is fair. But I think we just need to go into this film expecting it to just be kind of meh, popping our popcorn if we can get it, and just take it at face value.
Now, the question becomes, will this movie encourage people to seek out the new classic, what is it called again? Oh, yes, the Raptor Pastor.
I hope so.
I mean, yeah, that's the one. If guys, it's a real thing. Look it up.
Yeah. Is it an asylum film?
I think it might be an asylum film or an asylum-like film or something like that.
I will say this, John. I do think this movie is going to do well. I don't necessarily think it's going to gross $1 billion. But in all seriousness, I mean, obviously this is going to have a monster first weekend. Kids still love dinosaurs. What kid isn't going to go see this movie? And kids are a little less discerning than we are. And as long as there's enough dinosaur action in it, I think it'll do respectably well. And I'm sure it'll do well for him. Although, you know, some of the worst reviews we've heard, even people who've written into this show, have been from places like Brazil or Mexico.
Well, I mean, there's some countries that got it last week, and we heard from some of our audience writing, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
To me, like, I'm with Rob. I don't see how you can have dinosaurs in a movie and it not be entertaining, at least. You know, if I'm going to go back to food, if you make a breakfast burrito, how do you botch a breakfast burrito?
Dude, they had
They
5
do.
movies of Transformers.
you shouldn't be
Those were interesting.
you shouldn't be making breakfast burritos then. You know what I mean? It's like, don't use dinosaurs if you can't use them right.
All right, guys. Well, the question is for you. Jurassic World Dominion, it's official, is the lowest critically rated of all the Jurassic franchise. Do you got your tickets already? You probably do. Or you're one of our international friends who've seen it already. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Whatever they are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those there. Okay, guys. Let's go on to something else fun. Let's go on to main topic number 5.
This is our dark finale.
This is our dark
This is our dark finale.
Chris, what is our 5th main topic today?
Oh, it's not going to be nearly as fun as Mando Season 3. From Jack to Carlo. Hi, John and crew. My God, I did not think the situation could get much worse. Ezra Miller is back in the headlines. This just days after the Variety article. I'm scratching my head. Warner Brothers can no longer keep quiet about the issue. The only meaningful way it's ever been addressed is through articles. Do you think there's any way they can continue to stay silent?
All right. Thanks a lot for saying that in. Okay, look. All seriousness. So the Ezra Miller situation has gone from bad to, oh my God, bad, to what the hell is going on at this point. Now, of course, we went from everything about him being caught on camera, literally choking a woman and taking her to the ground. They threw a chair and hit another woman in the face. They apparently broke into a couple's bedroom and stole a bunch of their stuff. Then there was another incident at something, and it seems to get more and more strange. And then just when you think this can't get any stranger, and Warner Brothers can't ignore this anymore. And by the way, they keep doing it. By the way, what did I say Warner Brothers was going to do? I said they're going to keep up with their philosophy of, shh, we don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Ezra. Let's just shh, because the audience are children who are easily distracted. Look, everybody, keys. Woo, and we all forget about it. And they just expect everybody to forget about it. And we have every single time. The audience moves on after every weird, odd, disturbing incident that happens with Ezra Miller, who, by the way, I am on record. I really like Ezra Miller as the Flash. I know a lot of people don't like Ezra as the Flash. I do. Deal with it. But all this stuff off camera has been really disturbing. The fact that Warner Brothers has never so much as made a single comment about it has been troubling. But now it's gotten worse. And you know what? I think the threshold's been crossed. I don't think they can just go, shh, let's pretend nothing is happening anymore. So basically what's happened is this. TMZ got their hands on legal documents that have been filed by some parents. You know, instead of me trying to paraphrase it, let's just read what's going on here because it's disturbing. This comes to us from TMZ, wrote the following. According to new legal docs obtained by TMZ, Tokata Iron Eyes met a then 23-year-old Ezra Miller in 2016 when she was 12. And the actor was visiting Standing Rock Reservation in North Dakota. From there, Tokata's parents say she and Ezra developed a friendship that they believe puts Tokata at risk. I think it's pronounced Tokata. Tokata's parents say Miller flew her to London in 2017 to visit the studio where Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them was filmed, as she was a big fan and Miller was a star in the movie. At the time of the trip, they say she was 14 years old and Ezra was 25. As the friendship continued, Tokata's parents claim Ezra supplied their underage daughter with alcohol, marijuana, and LSD. Not only that, they claim, Ezra, best known as the Flash in the DC superhero films, disrupted Tokata's schooling at a private institute in Massachusetts so much that she dropped out in December of 2021. The parents say they flew to Miller's Vermont home in January to get their daughter and discovered that she didn't have her driver's license, car keys, bank card, and other items needed to navigate life independently. They say also they found bruises on her body, which they allege Ezra caused. Shortly after she got home, Tokata's parents say she fled to New York City to reunite with Ezra. And from there, the pair has been traveling together to Vermont, Hawaii, and Los Angeles. The two were spotted at a club in Hawaii where another incident happened, by the way, at a club in Hawaii in video obtained by TMZ. Then just the next part down here. In the documents, Takada's parents state that Ezra uses violence, intimidation, threats of violence, fear, paranoia, delusions, and drugs to hold sway over their young adolescent Takada. They claim Ezra told Takada to solely go by the name Gibson, a nickname she formerly used with family and friends. Then there's this. They say Ezra decided Takada is non-binary transgender when she had previously declared herself non-binary queer gay. All right, so these are parents that have filed this with the court to say that this individual, Ezra Miller, has had this relationship with our daughter since she was 12. It's given her drugs, making her change her name. When we finally went to go get her back from their house, she didn't have her keys, her ID, her bank card, her whatever, and she had bruises. And we are terrified, and they're seeking a court order to basically keep Ezra away from her. Now, in response, and again, we're going to read this in length because I think there's some interesting things here. Takada put out her own statement about this in response to the parents and friends that she has being really, really concerned. This is what she wrote. She wrote, "I'd like to make a statement to acknowledge the tragedy that is the narrative of the general public and the assumptions made on my behalf by my family and friends regarding my stability and otherwise. I dropped out of Bard 5 months ago. My friends and comrade William passed shortly thereafter. My mind was incredibly impacted, and I've needed space and time for the processing of grief. My comrade, Ezra Miller, for the entirety of the aforementioned era, has only provided loving support and invaluable protection throughout this period of loss. I am in no way or under any circumstance have been during my short-lived adulthood in need of a conservatorship," the same sort of thing that Britney Spears was just under. Where was that? Yeah. "My father and his allegations hold no weight and are frankly transphobic and based on the notion that I am somehow incapable of coherent thought and opposing opinions to those of my own kindred worrying about my well-being. I am now aware of the severity of emotional and psychological manipulation I was made to endure while in my parents' home. I am an adult and I deserve to feel authority in my own body. I'm tired of wondering whether or not cops are going to show up, blah, 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 blah." There's no fucking way an 18-year-old wrote this.
You don't think so?
No. Sorry. As somebody from the legal field, I'm telling you, an 18-year-old didn't write that. And this is, look, again, I am not a psychological expert. Let me just say that. What I am about to say is as a Joe fucking nobody who's sitting on the outside just looking at this stuff. That's all you're getting from me is my own, flippant opinion. All right. But the language that is used in here, that's the language of somebody who's been brainwashed. All of a sudden now the parents are the enemy. The parents have had me under this and this and this. The parents have sent her off to a private school and blah. It's this. My comrade Ezra Miller has been protecting me. When the parents go to the house and find that all of the stuff you need to survive independently from this other person has been taken away from you and you got bruises, they take him away. And it's so bad that she then runs away again to join up with this performer, this actor who has been in their life since they were 12. Look, like in a lot of these other situations, I'm not there. I'm not in the room. I haven't seen this thing with my own eyes. I am smart enough to know that I don't know because I'm not there. Everybody on the internet thinks they know because of things they read on the interwebs. I'm smart enough to know that I don't know. But I would be lying and facetious if I didn't say that seeing a couple of parents feel so desperate that they have to go to the court to ask for help. This is really disturbing stuff. I had somebody in Warner Brothers yesterday message me that basically said, I don't know how they can ignore this now. By they meaning those who would be their bosses. I don't know how this can be ignored anymore. Like, what do you do? How do you promote the Flash movie now? You can't have the star of the movie out promoting the film. You cannot put the star of this movie in a room with press to ask them questions because I guarantee you the questions they ask ain't gonna even be about the Flash. So tell us about that girl you hit in the face with a chair. So tell us about the 12-year-old or the 14-year-old who flew out to London. Tell us about this, comrade. Tell us about all this. That is going to be the narrative. So now you're David Zaslav, new head of Warner Brothers. And like this whole time you're like, what the F have I inherited with this situation? you can't just throw the Flash movie away. You spend hundreds of millions of dollars wrapped up in that thing. You can't just throw it away, but you can't release it. You can't talk about it. And look, let me throw this out there too, giant asterisks. For all we know, if we fast forward now 5 months into the future, maybe a video gets released that shows everything is exactly as she just put it in that writing. Okay, hey, listen, I'm acknowledging that right now. Maybe we find that out. Like I said, I wasn't there. Going on my interpretation of what we're seeing, though, which is limited, I don't know how you release this film. This is now gone beyond the let's just jingle some keys in front. Let's release a new picture of Michael Keaton as Batman. Yeah, that'll make everybody forget about it. And that's worked. That has worked for Warner Brothers before. I don't know how this works anymore. Like, and so what do? Do you just drop it on HBO Max? Because I'll tell you right now, Ezra Miller will never be the Flash again. Now the only question is it going to impact this movie that we have all been very much looking forward to seeing? And how are we going to see it? And are we going to see it at all? Because this, if you are David Zaslav, no matter how mighty and sharp your axe is, this is a nightmare situation for them. And I just don't know what they're going to do. Rob, you just read the whole very dark, disturbing thing here. Let's not pretend like we're psychologists and we know the inner workings of everybody's mind. But so let's look at this from a movie perspective.
Right.
You are David Zaslav's lieutenant. You are the one who holds the axe and hands it to him when he wields it in mighty battle. And he says to you, Rob, what the actual F do we do here? What's your counsel to Warner Brothers this morning?
It's a really tough call. I think right now there's really no way that, especially in the times that we're in, there's so many issues with this situation that there's no to make profit for a studio with all of these potential issues, personal issues of gender identity, issues of controlling people. There's so many crazy things in this story. If Warner Brothers were to release this film, there's no way around the fact that it would look like they're profiteering off what could be a very unsavory situation. You just can't do it. I don't know what the answer is. I've never seen anything like this before. Like in Hollywood history, we've been watching these dominoes fall one after the other about the star of a film. I mean, you know, when Kevin Spacey was accused of impropriety, Ridley Scott was like, I'm cutting him out and I'm going to replace him with Christopher Plummer. And within
a CG Christopher Plummer is going to be our new Flash.
Within a week, I mean, it was unbelievable how quickly there was decisive action and he just did it. And we've talked about on this show, he's the star. Ezra Miller doesn't even, there's multiple Ezra Millers.
Yeah, there's multiple Ezras. He's not just in one.
So what do? You cannot go in and deep fake this with another actor. You'd have to reshoot these
because
scenes.
They're in far too much of it.
Yeah, I mean, and then also, let's say you don't release this movie, right? You sit on it. Then this becomes even more this notorious film that everybody wants to see. Because, you know, I want to see it. I just want to see if it's real on Chris's behalf. No, but I want to see the movie. Why wouldn't, if Michael Keaton's coming back as Batman, it's based on the Flashpoint storyline. I mean, everything about this movie is attractive to me. But now you have a lead. I don't know if I could even watch this movie. Like, I couldn't get out of my head. I mean, if he truly, like, I think that there's a truth here that's somewhere nebulously in the middle of all this. You know, there's a lot of stuff. She was going to Bard College, apparently. Bard's a very prestigious institution, and Ezra Miller was paying for that, apparently. Why were parents letting her fly at 14 across the pond to London?
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday.
I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on here that now I can see how parents, I've heard this from other parents that who have children that are going through identity issues and they don't have friends like Ezra Miller and they're beside themselves. So I think it's too early on. There's too much about this that I would be quick. I don't want to judge something that I've only read about in the media for a day. You know, I'd love to hear more about it. But in terms of the movie, dude, I just think that I don't know what you do with it. I've never seen anything like this before.
Chris, you're in the boardroom at Warner Brothers right now. David Zaslav's at the head of the table, very upset, doesn't know what to do, and he looks to the generals and says, how do we approach this? What do we do? Do we continue with the shh, let's not talk about this philosophy? Do we proceed full speed ahead with, hey, listen, it's not coming out for another year. We got time for this to die down. Do they make some sort of move now? What do you think ultimately is going to happen with this movie?
I mean, I feel like they've been doing the it's going to die down approach this whole time.
Yeah.
And it's just gotten exponentially worse. And I will say, you know, TMZ stories and things like that, right? It's why we sat on this yesterday. It's why more research needed to be done, more sources need to be found and everything.
And then Deadline wrote about it.
And then Deadline talked about it and everything, right? This is not a good look. This is not a good look at all. Ezra Miller is just doubling down on abhorrent behavior, just beyond the pale. And how do you have that happening in a film that is about a hero, that's about a character that kids are supposed to look up to, that there's going to be action figures of and everything? And I know that's a very ridiculous kind of stance of there's going to be action figures of this guy. Truly, though, this is going to be somebody's hero. And it's somebody who's potentially been grooming people, who harms people, who throws chairs at people and chokes people. That's not okay. That I shouldn't have to say that's not okay. My big thing in the boardroom would be, did we all miss that day in pre-K about treating others how we want to be treated? Did we just totally miss that day where you can't hit other kids? This is outrageous. And somebody on the plane coming back from CinemaCon who worked for WB stopped me and asked me about their panel and everything, did that, and I did you know what I want you guys to talk about.
Right.
I keep talking about it on the show. I want you to say something about Ezra Miller. Oh, I know. They need to take a stand. Other studios have done it for so much less. And right now, by staying silent, it makes them complacent. By staying silent, it makes it seem like you agree with these actions. And while that very, very much, I'm sure, is not the case, that's what happens if you aren't adding to the conversation. Someone's going to create the narrative for you.
At some point, they at least have to come forward, I think, Warner Brothers. And again, I've said it before, but it needs to be stated again. We are smart enough to know that we don't know. Right? We are reading this in Deadline and in a report and whatever. We're reading this. We weren't there. We don't know. But I think at this moment, you're right. It crosses a line from being Warner Brothers saying, let's ignore this, to they start to become complacent and complicit. At some point, they need to at least say, obviously, we at Warner Brothers are disturbed by the allegations that are being made, and we are going to launch an independent third-party investigation into it. Well, I mean, they at least have to say that. And even if they come back to us in 3, 4, 5 months and say, you know, we looked into it, we found there was some embellishment in the reports and blah, 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 and we're going to move ahead. I mean, at least then it looks like they've done something about it. I'm not sure. Ray?
I'm just going to talk about the movie itself, not the situation. It's hard for me to stomach, but just the movie itself. Someone said something in the chat, which I forgot their name, but they said, do you think they could edit out certain parts of the movie and just put it in another movie after doing a multiverse thing? Do you think that could be a possibility where Ezra's not even in it? They take out the Keaton parts, maybe put it in something else.
No, then you're just trying to Frankenstein something together, and that would end up being even worse, because now not only have you destroyed and ruined and throwing away this one like $200 million movie you've made, now you're ruining your overall franchises by trying to put something that's like Frankenstein together, right? So that's, I mean, that's thinking outside the box, but unfortunately, that's not really going to be an option for them.
You know, I think it would be easy for Warner Brothers to just give a statement and say, pending our investigation and pending the looking into this in some way, we are
taking the movie off our release schedule.
That's what they do. That right now we are postponing The Flash indefinitely, and based on the results of whatever investigations have to occur here or whatever's going on, that's all they need to say. That's decisive action, because look, Warner Brothers, they're not cops. They're not there to deliver justice into the world. I mean, maybe social justice to the stories they tell, but they're just a movie studio. And I don't think all they can do is come out and say the right move for them would be to say we are postponing this film indefinitely, pending.
Because if they do say that now, they may not even have to delay it at all, because again, the release date for the movie is more than a year away.
But like you said, they have to acknowledge it.
What makes it really difficult for them right now is that from what we have heard, this movie is pivotal to what their future strategy is, right? So it becomes a movie that it's like the option of just taking it and quietly throwing it away and let's never speak about it again. That's not really an option for them. Not only because it costs them so much to do it, but apparently this movie is what sets the stage for a lot of the other things they want to do later on down the road. So, I mean, here's what I see as being their options right now. Their options right now are, notwithstanding delays, their options right now are release this film in theaters and give it the full thing and just don't promote it. Don't have any press junkets for it. Don't put Ezra Miller on the road to promote it. Blah, just put it out in theaters. 2, release it on HBO Max. 3, just toss the film. I don't think number 3 is a valid option for them. So I think it's going to have to be 1 or 2, but what they do in the meantime is unclear.
Also, you know, these stories, this story about the parents, it's a very outlandish story. And there's a lot of questions that I have about it. Just, you know, having been a teenager myself and seen kids going through things with their parents. This story is very odd on a number of different levels. So I think it does warrant further investigation, and we need to find out from all parties what's actually going on.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, none
either.
of this, like, the only reason I think that we even bring this up on here is because what's happening in this story is going to have a direct impact on the movies we see. You know, and there's a movie here, there's a very prominent movie, The Flash, because again, I am not an investigator. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know what the parents did or didn't do, what Ezra did or didn't do, whatever. I look at what's being presented. I think like everybody, I'm feeling pretty disturbed by it.
Yeah.
And so the only question I'm really posing to everybody, that's why I'm not sitting here asking, what do you think the parents' responsibility is, everybody?
Yeah.
No,
Right.
that's because you
None
don't
of us were
fucking
there.
know.
None
You
of
don't
us
we
know,
don't.
but neither do I, right?
And it's not up to Warner Brothers to either look.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out what is Warner Brothers going to do about their movie. And
Right.
that's where it's going to get kind of sticky here. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Let's say you're in the battle room right now. You're in the war room with David Zaslav. The axe is hanging on the wall. And he says, what do we do about this, ladies and gentlemen? It's been sharpened. What do we do about this?
Swing away, Meryl.
Swing away.
Swing away.
Then what do you say? Would you recommend to David? Let's plow ahead. Let's say we're postponing the film. Let's say we're going to do an investigation. Let's continue with our philosophy of shh. Let's just not talk about it. Do you put it onto HBO Max? What sage advice and counsel, as the consigliere, do you give David Zaslav right now on what they should do with this Flash movie? It's a complicated situation. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, we're going to take your live comments, questions, thoughts, opinions, theories, whatever. I'm sure we're going to get some Ezra Miller stuff in here, Ghostbusters stuff, whatever you guys want to write and talk about. So we are now opening up the super chats. Again, they're only going to be open for a couple of minutes because they fill up fast. So make sure you get them fired in now. Guys, be very, very careful about putting in multi-part. If you want to put in multi-part ones, write them out in a notepad first and then copy and paste them in quickly so we don't have to scroll for them too much. All right, but before we get to those live questions, guys, we want to take a second and thank the very first sponsor of the John Campea Show. These guys, when we started taking sponsorships, they were the first one up at bat, and we're thrilled to have them back again, our friends at Upside. Hey guys, we want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Upside. You guys remember a while ago, I started using Upside. Upside is an incredible, easy to use app for buying groceries, dining out, or even buying gas. And with every purchase you make at those shops, restaurants, or gas stations, you are earning cash back thanks to Upside. When I started using Upside, I was incredibly impressed with just how easy the app is to use and how easy it is to start accumulating cash that I can deposit directly into my bank account, PayPal, Amazon gift card, many different ways. And like I said, I was incredibly impressed at just how easy and simple and straightforward the process is to start getting cash back now. To get started, just download the free Upside app in the Apple App Store or Google Play. Use my promo code CAMPEA, that's CAMPEA, and get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. Once you've got the app, just claim an offer for whatever it is you're buying on Upside. Check in at the business, pay as usual with a debit card or a credit card, and get paid. Download the free Upside app and use promo code Campea Show to get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more using the promo code Campea Show. And a big thank you to the folks at Upside for being a sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with that all down, let's now go over and hear what you guys have to say in the live chat. Chris, what do we got going on in there?
We are starting off with some support from One Genjar and P. Dot. Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you guys for sending that in.
From Josh Kahn. WB is in a poker position when you bet big on pocket kings early, but you know you have a losing hand now. Better to recast, reshoot now, fold like in poker, as it's better long-term for the franchise.
Josh, that's one of the greatest comments ever written in. I'll tell you why, because it's a poker analogy. Tell you what, the kings, pocket kings, guys, those of you who are watching who play a little bit of poker, right? You know this is the case. Pocket kings are the most dangerous hand in poker. And there's why. Because people don't have discipline. You can get pocket kings. It's a great hand. It's a fabulous hand. One of the best starting hands in poker. But if you get to the flop and an ace comes, you got to be ready to lay those kings down. You got to be ready to fold and walk away. But people get attached to their kings. And they get themselves in trouble. Why am I saying all that? Because your analogy is perfect. This is what Warner Brothers finds themselves in. You've got, from what we've heard, they believe they have a fantastic movie in Flash, right? The early word has been very, very good that they think they got pocket kings. An Ezra Miller-shaped ace has just hit the flop, though. And you've got to be willing to save yourself long-term to say, okay, we need to do something. You can't just ride out those pocket kings when there's an ace on the board, man. You're just asking for trouble, and it looks like Warner Brothers might be asking for trouble. But we'll see what happens. All right, what's next?
From Andy, 1 of 2. Day started off really bad today. My car's Cadillac converter got stolen under my nose.
That happened to Ray's family, too.
This specific theft has been massively surging lately, and...
All right, we'll just have to get to it.
There it is. They're relatively simple to remove and take. Average cost of replacement and repair is $1K to $3K. Wanted to let everyone know to be vigilant with their cars.
Yeah, again, Anne and Ray's mom had her catalytic converter stolen, too.
Oh, that's awful.
It's one of the reasons why I like that I drive a Tesla. It doesn't have one. But yeah, that's been a huge thing with a lot of people, man. Yeah, and great warning. People, just be careful. Look where you're parking. Make sure you're around a security camera or something. All right, what's next?
From Mufasa, did you see that in the She-Hulk trailer when Hulk and She-Hulk jump and land? That isn't Professor Hulk. That is Hulk with the t-shirt ripped.
I don't recall thinking, you know what? Thank you for pointing that out. I will go back and watch that trailer again because I do like the trailer quite a bit. I'm going to go back, watch the trailer again. I'll see that. But I think it is Professor Hulk, but I don't know. We'll see. Did you guys notice anything different?
No.
I mean, just because the shirt's ripped, that doesn't mean it's not Professor Hulk.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. We'll see. All right, what's next?
From Drew L. Ray, it's crazy how Disney gets killed for not immediately speaking against they don't say gay thing, but WB is getting away with ignoring the Ezra stuff.
I mean, one affects a much, much smaller group of people, one a much larger group of people. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's a false equivalent. We're talking about two very different things.
And one's about legislation that affects an entire state where the company is based.
Yeah.
Versus
and one is
individual.
about, the actions of one, the alleged actions of one individual. So they're very, very different situations. All right, what's next?
From Thomas BDL. Hey, hi, John and team. What do you think of Shining Girls on Apple TV? I know Rob likes the book. I haven't read it, but I loved the atmosphere of the show.
Not going to lie, I haven't even heard of it. Rob?
Well, it's a great Elizabeth Moss stars in it.
That's the Elizabeth Moss one.
Yeah,
okay, I haven't seen that, but I didn't know what the name of the show was.
The book is very interesting. The show looks terrific, and I've only heard great things about it. It looks like it's beautifully produced. You know, I love horror literary adaptations. I mean, it might not be your thing, but it looks great. I haven't watched it. You know why? I keep forgetting about it. Every time I see something, every time someone mentions it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can go watch Shining Girls. I always forget. Even when I'm with Elizabeth, she's like, well, what are you going to watch? Which of the shows the 10 shows we're getting through now? I never remember Shining Girls.
Well, yeah, at some point I think I'll watch it just because I like Elizabeth Moss.
The book is great, and the show looks like it's a really great adaptation.
All right, what's next?
From Ryan, Obi-Wan. We'll say I'm your father. Leia, grandfather maybe. Ewan McGregor is 16 years younger than Jimmy Smits. I'm just saying.
Yes, but she knows that Jimmy Smits is her adopted father, right? So, I mean, there's that. I mean, I think they're trying to play in that Ewan is now older than he was back in the day. Yeah, a little preposterous, yes, but incredibly charming nonetheless. All right, what's next?
From Amin, I was at the Mando panel at Celebration where they showed us a full trailer for season 3, and it was awesome. It's going to be about going back to Mandalore. Can't wait for you all to see what they showed us.
Yeah, now I went to Star Wars Celebration, but I did not go to any of the panels. I just loved walking the floor and met many of you guys there. Thank you for coming up and saying hi. But I heard that the trailer, I haven't seen it, but I heard that the trailer was great. I'm waiting for them to drop it. And we all kind of suspected it was all going to be going back to Mandalore, but I'm very, very excited to see that, Amin. All right, what's next?
From Blue Magma, some support. Thank you so much.
Blue.
Josh Becker. I watched Hustle on Netflix today. It was great.
Yeah, that, of course, is the new Adam Sandler one. I have not tuned into it yet, but I have heard, I'm not going to lie to you, the trailers did not do anything for me. But I've heard nothing but good things.
He's a basketball scout, right?
Yeah, I believe he plays a basketball scout who's pursuing a dream of his or whatever. LeBron James is involved with the movie in some way, shape, or form. Not sure about it, but I've heard nothing but good things. Thanks for the recommendation. All right, what's next?
From Movie Talk, sending in a $20 super
Thank
chat.
you, Movie Talk.
Hi, Campea crew. Warning. With everything going on with Ezra, I think they'd fit perfectly into the world of the boys. They'd be the new leader of the Church of the Collective. Ezra's name would be the Flash, just without the powers. Oh.
Hey, listen, watching episode 1 again, I mean, the boys loves riffing on things happening in our real world. And even it's like, you're a fraud, Tony Gilroy reshot most of the movie. I know, I'm a fraud. Like, they play on that a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see some kind of Ezra Miller storyline worked into the boys at some point. Would not be surprised at all. Anyway, well pointed out, man. All right, what's next?
From Jay Bling. Rob, you weren't wrong in believing that the plot for Jurassic World Dominion would be what you were hoping for. The trailers and official synopsis suggested it.
Well, just like what I was talking about, the idea that we've unleashed an alien ecosystem from 65 million years ago onto our world today, that's a great threat. That's a great, how do we deal with that? It's also, from a science fiction standpoint, a great allegory. Climate change, call it what you will. That's always the basis of great science fiction entertainment. And you add dinosaurs eating people, it's just that much more entertaining. And I think that what they're talking about, at least, and again, I haven't seen the movie, just what I've been reading about in even the reviews when they explain the plot, it seems unnecessarily convoluted. So, but here's hoping.
All right, what's next?
From the moon.
The moon.
This question is for everyone. Why do you think Disney Plus gives us the option to subscribe to their service monthly or annually, but Netflix only gives us 3 tiers to choose from, but not monthly or annually? Thoughts?
I mean, that's not just a streaming thing. That is a marketing choice, right? Like we see many, many different industries have, hey, you can sign up for a monthly subscription, or you can pay a little bit less if you sign up for the entire year. And then other things will have different levels of things you can do. I mean, just look at something like PlayStation, right? PlayStation's got that new PlayStation Plus Essentials, PlayStation Plus, whatever things. But it's 3 different levels. You can pay different things for the different services you get. It's just really a marketing thing that is not unique to the streaming service at all. So I think you're going to see a lot of that.
I think there's something also different in the sense that Netflix, their only business is their subscription. That's
all they got.
That's all they got. Whereas Disney, they're used to having different tiers for their entertainments.
Yeah.
Whereas Netflix doesn't want to say that, oh, you're only signing up for 3 months. Oh, we don't want that. We want ongoing subscribers. That's how they chart their business.
All right, what's next?
From Official Friend Zone. Rob, I hope I made you proud. I bought a limited edition $1,300 3-foot-tall statue of Smaug the Dragon from Weta Workshop, who designed the original dragon in The Hobbit. I'll DM it to you.
I would love to see that.
Oh, yeah. I'll bet look, what a great dragon.
I would make room for that on this desk. There's a lot already going on this desk, but I would make room somewhere on this desk.
Yeah, Weta Workshop, they do some good work. And you know what? I am proud of you. I'm proud that you dropped, I hope you have a significant other that you snuck that $1,300 out from under their noses and you were able to purchase that. When it shows up at your house, come up with a really great excuse.
You won it in a contest.
Yeah. And that's half the fun of buying these large scale collectibles is pulling one over on either your parents, your significant other, or whatever. I don't know how this got here. Isn't it amazing though? It's cool, right?
This is terrible relationship advice.
Yeah.
This is Elizabeth.
No.
Check your stick.
You don't like, okay, you got to understand, for 3 years, the first conversation every morning, besides some complaint about Star Trek. So the first conversation for 3 years that Rob shows up and the conversation is always a variation of this. X toy arrived today Elizabeth complained that I spend too much on these toys. And like, I've never said it, but it's like, well, Rob, she may have a point. I mean, you are literally coming in here every day saying, this arrived today. It's like, that's a lot of coin, man, for these.
I think on the flip
collectibles.
side, Elizabeth and I watched this new episode of Star Trek together, and I turned to her and I said, honey, this was the best episode of Star Trek since 2005.
All right, what's next?
At this point, Rob has more toys in his house than house.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why they needed the new house.
No, they're all in the garage, baby. They're all in the garage. Come on.
From J Master
J
102,
Master.
sending in a $50 super chat.
Thank you, Jay, for supporting us on that level, man.
Breaking news, Disney has officially announced Marvel Studios' next onstage event will be at D23, not Comic-Con, Saturday, September 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to showcase highly anticipated theatrical films, Disney Plus series, and specials. The second part of Jay's thing. There we go. Sending in an additional $10. And Lucasfilm will announce their highly anticipated theatrical films, Disney Plus series, and specials on the same day, September 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time at Hall D23.
Yeah, so we talked the other day about will Marvel be at Comic-Con this year, and I mentioned like it's iffy. I mean, they got D23 there coming up. They just came off of Star Wars Celebration. They're gonna try to make this thing, and I don't doubt for a second now that Avengers Con is going to become a real thing. I think Avengers Con is absolutely going to become a real thing. I think they're probably moving away from that. I mean, listen, to me, that is disappointing as somebody who likes going to Comic-Con. I haven't stepped foot in Hall H in 5 years. I mean, before the pandemic, I hadn't stepped foot in Hall H. I really don't care about that. Listen, 150,000 people go to Comic-Con. Hall H can hold 6,000.
Yeah.
That means 90-something% of people, they don't go to Hall H anyway.
The line
right?
wraps around the convention center now. You're outside. People
For
hand
days.
out bottles of water, and people camp out in there. Like,
Yeah.
they don't leave, you guys. I haven't been to Hall H in years either.
Literally, the last time I was in Hall H, I was moderating one of the panels. That's the only way I could get in. Because I was freaking moderating the panel.
No, it's
That was
true.
it.
I think I did a drive-in panel for low-budget films in Hall H. I moderated a panel, and I think you might be right. That would be the last time, which is sort of unfortunate that, Comic-Con used to be a place where you could drift in and out of panels.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. And, I've been going there since '88, and now it's just a chore. And I love Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But you can't go and enjoy it. Everything has to be planned. You're running everywhere. It's
I can tell you, though, there's going to be one magnificent panel at Comic-Con this year. So, yes, I am doing a panel at Comic-Con this year, but I'm not allowed to say what the name of it is or where the specific details. But once they tell me we can reveal that, I'll reveal it. All right, what's next? Thanks for that, J Master, by the way.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man.
Peter Cunnington. I heard a rumor they might be making a sequel to Moonfall.
Don't laugh. I did hear that same thing.
Did you hear it from Ray?
Were you drunk at the time? No, seriously. I heard there's some discussions going on about maybe taking another shot at it because of the big open end of the end of the
well,
film,
there's
right?
that movie just screams
It's
for that sequel.
Begging for a sequel.
I mean,
my
Roland Emmerich did
goodness.
say he had a Moonfall trilogy.
He did. He said he had a trilogy planned out.
And the third one has to be Moonrise.
It could happen. If it does, it would be a straight to home video, massively reduced budget sort of thing. But I don't think it'll happen, but I'd say there's a 20% chance it does, but never making it into a movie theater.
I mean, you could do, Moonfall, Moonshadow, Moonrise.
Boom.
Come on, there's your trilogy. There's your Moon trilogy. Would you go see that, Ray?
No.
He's over it. All right, what's next?
From Ben Rayner. I've been saying it all the time. HBO Max is the answer. It's the lesser of two evils, in my opinion.
Of course, okay, no, it's an option. I don't know that it's the answer because everybody forgets something. Once you decide to put it on HBO Max, you are accepting we're losing hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's just that. And that is not an easy thing. It's not the answer. It might be the option they go with. It is an option. But you are literally acknowledging saying we are just having to accept that we're just going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. And there it is. And that's going to be a tough one to swallow, even though it might be the one they have to swallow.
Well, also, John, if word that we've heard is to be believed, this film is also a great movie.
Yeah.
And to leave a great film out in the cold because of problems in the real world is a damn shame. All the people that are working on it, all the people that have.
Andy Muschietti had nothing to do with any of this.
Nothing.
Andy Muschietti is just a director who he went in and he made the best damn movie that he could. Now, we haven't seen it. We don't know that it's good, but we're hearing that it's good. He's just so. I feel real bad for damn Andy right now. I feel real bad for him. All right, what's
I just got my Hot Toys Pennywise figure.
I was going to say, what does that have to do with the Flash? It had to do with Andy Muschietti. All right. What's next?
From Seconds of Disaster, 1 of 3. We all know that Marvel hasn't been top tier post Endgame, but one thing that I love is that every property has been completely unique.
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel is
It's up here.
is so different in every way. The style, the word bubbles, text and background stuff, pure genius. And this finally feels like they found their footing.
And didn't write in. Yeah, guys, I warned you about trying to put in these multiple messages. Listen, I mentioned this on the Ms. Marvel after show yesterday, is that they have always done their best to make it so one feels like a political thriller, one feels like a heist movie, one feels like a comedy, one feels like a straight up action movie, one's a little more psychedelic. But lately they've really made everything feel differently, so unique. Like I didn't end up loving Moon Knight, but I enjoyed Moon Knight, but it was so different from anything else they'd done. And then you go into Ms. Marvel, which again, this is tonally, content, like this is so radically different from anything they've done. Yeah, I've got some problems with the modern phase of the MCU, but one thing you got to give them, man, they are really trying to mix it up and give us a really wide-ranging variety of stuff, and I really do appreciate that. All right, what's next?
From Andy. Hi, John. If Ray is the concierge to Hotel Campea, as you say he is, then can he welcome me to the Hotel Campea? Such a lovely place. Such a lovely face.
Welcome to the hotel. Yes. Does that make him the devil? Does that make Ray the devil?
Not sweet little Ray.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you making a movie reference?
No,
Hotel
that's
California.
a reference to the old Eagles song, Hotel California. Right,
Ray'll check you out.
I have no idea.
Anytime you like.
Ray
you
was
can never
napping.
You can never leave. All right, what's next?
From Logan Landis. Let me paint you a picture. It's a nice night with a full moon. A beautiful woman approaches Ray, asks him to go see a 4DX movie. She explains it's a re-release of Terminal. Hashtag Raygasm.
Yeah, I think if you also walk up to him with a big plate of like pulled pork, do that all at once. You've just
Pulled pork, you have no
love
clue.
pulled pork.
I hate pulled pork.
Well, I
It's
was
the
with you.
skin.
I
It's the
was
skin
with
of the
you.
pork. It's the skin of the pork. You got.
I was with you when you were like ordering that pulled pork. I remember that. That
What?
was there.
You
You
mistake
can't
me.
lie to me, Ray.
What if this beautiful woman
I
came
hate-
up with your like Chipotle order already for the movie? Is that she
There
wifey?
you go.
You're checking
Okay.
a lot of boxes for Ray here.
Right?
You're
There
checking
you
a
go.
lot of boxes.
Ladies,
My
take a
fantasy.
note.
All right, what's
Well,
next?
please don't send me pulled pork. That's an internet lie.
What's next?
From Raymond, I took a class under Lightyear's director Angus MacLean and co-animator Adam Wood.
Wow.
He's a Pixar lifer. Every week he'll ask us what movies we have watched lately. Together they look like Woody and Buzz.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, that's cute.
But it's always cool when you've had encounters, exposure to like certain people, and then later those people are doing something or involved in something really cool and big, and it just kind of makes you feel special at the same time. I love that kind of stuff. Thanks for sharing that, Raymond. Appreciate that, man. All right, what's next?
From Suthius, some perspective. When Dwayne was announced as Black Adam in 2014, we had one child who was 4. Now we have a 12-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
Yeah. And remember that he had actually been working on getting Black Adam together with him in it for about 5 years prior to that. So this thing is a long time coming. Like it is a long time. I still remember being at the CinemaCon back in the day when Dwayne Johnson came out on stage, says, "I'm Black Adam. You know, the DC universe will heal under my boot," and all this kind of stuff, right? That was like 2 children ago. Like that is crazy. All right, what's next?
From Zashawn, WB now knows who to learn from to market to kids.
Oh,
Wow.
that almost deserves a Ray
That's,
boo.
ooh.
All right, what's next?
We did that, J Master.
All right.
Yes, we
From
did.
Brand Demand, 2 of my favorite things in life, Paul McCartney and the Toy Story franchise. Next week, I'll be seeing Paul on Thursday and Lightyear on Friday. Can't
All
wait.
right.
Didn't he just do like a big concert in LA?
Yeah.
Like brought the house down?
SoFi Stadium.
I tell you what,
wild.
I can literally, our friend Scott Mance is a massive Beatles fan, like psychotic, huge, massive. And I can hear him cry whenever I say, meh, The Beatles. I actually don't think the Beatles are that great. I'm more of a Stones guy. What can I say?
Dude, I'm Prince all day.
Oh,
every day.
yeah, you're all about the Prince stuff.
True.
All right.
Music,
I
sex,
saw them both at
romance.
Coachella, Prince and Paul McCartney.
What's next?
From VJ, oh my God, Everything Everywhere All at Once is now available for digital purchase. For anyone who hasn't seen it, now's your chance.
BJ, good on you. You're doing God's work. It is the best film of the year. I mean, I've seen some great stuff this year, but for me, that is still hands down the most creative, heartwarming. It's everything. And damn, Michelle Yeoh. Come on. So she's so good. Yeah, go see it. It's the best film of the year. All right, what's next?
Orlando, hey, John and crew, was there any movie that their reviews went down that quickly?
No, I can't think of any. I mean, we've seen some like, for instance, like Eternals was at like 70 plus and then end up below 50, but like going from like an 88 to a 38 that
Not good.
fast. Not good. And I've never seen anything quite like
What
that.
do we think the second weekend drop is?
I mean, listen, we haven't heard word of mouth yet, really, but it all depends on how big the opening weekend is, right? Because if the opening weekend is like 90 million, I could see the second weekend being a 55% drop. But if the opening is like 140, 150, I could see a plus 60% drop.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
The word that rhymes with orange. What do you do if you find yourself in Jurassic Park? You get your ass out.
All right,
I'm proud
I'll
of you.
give you the drum shot for that. All
That's not bad.
right, I'll give you that one.
Is that
All
with
right,
a gin shot?
what's next?
From Addison, Last of Us remake on PS5 and PC just got announced and it looks amazing. I'm honestly super excited. A good time to be a fan of the series.
Yeah, listen, so much good stuff happening. Plus, a lot of people are going to be rediscovering with the new PlayStation passes they have coming. So we've got the series coming, which I think it looks like it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. We got HBO doing it, so it's going to be great. It is a very good time to be a Last of Us fan. All right, what's next?
From Lucky BX, hi crew. My love for storytelling began in the 80s, watching ABC soaps with grandma.
Huh.
I still watch today. Did you guys ever watch soaps?
Tell you what, I got strep throat when I was in grade 9, and it was a bad case of it. I was actually like out of school for like 3 weeks.
Whoa.
And this is pre-streaming, so what's on in the afternoons? Soap operas. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't get into Young and the Restless.
Little House on the Prairie.
Well, that's a little before my time, I think, but I got into Young and the Restless with, I still remember the names. It was Jack Abbott, his father, John Abbott, and his sister, Ashley Abbott. And the big battle in the show was Jack Abbott versus Victor something. But that was the big, and I think that dude who played Victor, and I think the guy who played Jack Abbott, I think they're still in the show too. Not a lot changed there. But yep, for 3 weeks, I got hooked on, I got Young and the Restless. Or as my mom used to call it, the Young and the Breastless. I don't know why she used to call it that, but she did.
Dude, I was a mid-'80s General Hospital fanatic because of my mother. And I was in college. We would
During the Luke and Laura era?
It was post Luke and Laura. It was during Anna Devane, Robert Scorpio, and Sean Donnelly and The Treasure, and then when they went into Chinatown. So it was about from 1984 to 88. And when I was in college, my mother, I would videotape, record the shows, and we would watch them together on the weekends.
Wow.
And mine.
And my mother still watches General Hospital. She's watched General Hospital for over 50 years.
Were you about to say, Ray?
And mine was WWF.
Yeah,
Wrestling,
Ray was
baby.
on what's the storyline going on WWE?
That was the soap opera right there.
All right. Will Tito Santana defeat Greg the Hammer Valentine this week? I mean, that was
Find out.
thinking of me as a kid. All right, what's next?
From Scotty Hale. Hey Rob, you are booked this weekend with For All Mankind, and wait for it, Peaky Blinders season 6 starts this Friday. Let's go.
I can't wait. First of all, I love Peaky Blinders, and For All Mankind is one of my favorite shows on TV now. So that is a good weekend.
Yeah, I got to get caught up on For All Mankind too.
That's out this weekend, Rob?
Yes, season 3. But I just want you to know that it's now about Mars and it's no longer about.
No. I mean, I'm talking seriously. Do they drop all at once, right?
I don't think they do.
No,
I think it's a weekly
Apple goes
show.
weekly.
I'm gonna have to restart that.
They've allowed.
Plus.
They've released the first 8 episodes for reviewers. Everyone says it's like the best season yet.
Okay, I got it.
Good.
But they held back the last 2 episodes.
All right, what's next?
From Corey, I think Takata's letter is BS2. However, I do believe an 18-year-old can be that articulate. My niece's writing got her into college, into the college of her choice.
I'm not saying it's that an 18-year-old can't be articulate. I used to write when I was 18 too. I'm just looking at that letter and the structure of it and things are being said. It's like, it was either somebody else typing it or it was her fingers typing it while being told what to say. I mean, again, I am not a psychologist. I am simply giving you my, buttfuck nobody opinion who's reading this on the internet and just giving you my thoughts. Although I did work in law for a while, so that's my thought.
That was my only kind of moment on it, just because my dad's a very big time lawyer, and so I would write with a lot of legalese stuff and still do. I have some of my friends fake managers sometimes when they're not getting footage and things like that.
You're a little underage clerk. Were you doing some clerking underage?
I was doing a lot of corporate law for funsies. So that was the only kind of, but it does sound like it's written in a way that is a very PR legalese sort of thing that doesn't feel completely authentic.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
From Todd. Hi, Rob. Are you looking forward to Phil Tippett's Mad God? It looks incredible and horrifying. So glad this Pioneer's opus is finally coming out after 30 years of hard work.
Oh, well, for those of you who don't know, Phil Tippett is one of the great animators, stop motion animators of all time. Worked on Star Wars, did RoboCop, things like Starship Troopers, also animated the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. He has been working on what looks to be, if you look up this trailer, you can find it now, Mad God. It looks insane. It's played at a few festivals. I am dying to see this. It looks nuts. I mean, some weird, crazy Hieronymus Bosch robotic hell world. I have no idea, but I can't wait. Right up my alley. Bring it on.
All right. What's next?
From Elizabeth Rado. Joke's on you, John. When I saw the horrible reviews, I returned my tickets for Jurassic.
That's why you're one step ahead of the game, Elizabeth. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm one of those people, like, especially if I already have the tickets, I'm going to go see it. But I'm not going to lie. Last couple of years, I have allowed myself to be dissuaded from seeing a movie when I hear too many negative things, especially if it's a movie I'm really excited about because I don't want to get my heart broken. So, yeah, there's that. All right, good on you, Elizabeth. You are one step ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. All right, what's next?
From Andy. Hi, Chris. Hi, Andy. The fact that you know what Kim Possible is makes you 1,000 times more awesome. I rewatched the show on Disney Plus, and I'm dying for a revival of it. Well, Andy, there is that live action film. I didn't watch it, but maybe that was okay.
Did that actually come out? Did that actually happen?
That did, yeah. That was on Disney Plus, though, or went to Disney Channel or something like that. But they did do a live action version.
See, that's how badly they marketed it, because I didn't even know it was really even a thing.
That was a real thing.
All right, what's next?
From Curiosity Killed the Cat. John, I always look forward to the open spoiler discussions. Is there one that stands out to you as the most memorable to do? I love to rewatch and laugh with The Rise of Skywalker. OST, open spoiler discussion. In my opinion, it's John at his best.
I don't know. I mean, I can't even remember when I really first started doing open spoiler discussions. I mean, I started the open spoiler discussions at AMC. So that's when I started those. I can't really think of any that off the top of my head. I mean, I really like doing them for the TV stuff when it's stuff that we're excited about. This Obi-Wan one was particularly fun, even though I really hated episode 4. But I still like the show in general now. But whatever. So I can't think of one off the top of my head. But if I do, man, I will try to remember it and bring it back up. All right, what's next?
From 253 Sir 3. Hey guys, have you ever been in a cockpit before?
Yep.
When I was a little kid and they gave me wings.
We used to there's an airport in Hamilton, which is a city, this is where I grew up, which is right beside Toronto. And we had the little Hamilton International Airport. We always had this big air show, and every year you can just come in and been in the cockpits and stuff like that. And I don't know what instigated it, but I was on an airliner once and they let me go up and go into the cockpit, stuff like that. That's obviously pre the 9/11 days. Mm-hmm. So yes, have been in a cockpit. All right.
Have you ever been in a Turkish prison, Timmy?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was just thinking that same thing. All right, what's next?
From Lars, going for my first hot toy with Dead Strange.
Oh, Lars, that is a good one. Or Zombie Strange. It's interesting. I don't know why they didn't call it Zombie Strange, but Dead Strange. What a figure. I'm sorry about that price point, buddy.
Because technically it wasn't a zombie. It was
Dead
Strange. Just again, we all love hot toys, but be careful. Because once you get one, you're like, it would look really good beside that one.
Another one.
A good Scarlet Witch would look good. And these things are like $250 to $350 a pop, so just be careful because
Dead Strange is up there. It's in the 300s. But what a figure.
They're like Pringles.
Once you pop, you can't stop. What's next?
From Jay Master, Rob, what are your quick thoughts on Marvel Studios starting production on Blade with Mahershala Ali on July 4th?
Well, I think we're all excited, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm first of all, Mahershala Ali is Blade. Come on, what better?
Not one, a two-time Academy Award winner.
I mean,
Ali.
first of all, the Daywalker needs to come back. Everyone knows it never gets spoken of in these terms, but the first Blade, the first 15 minutes of that movie when you have the New
Blood
Order
Rave?
remix playing and you've got the
Blood Rave, man.
The Blood Rave. I mean, come on. And then I don't think Wesley Snipes, and I love, ever since he played Nino Brown in New Jack City, I love Wesley Snipes, and Wesley Snipes has never been more Wesley Snipes than he was as Blade in the first Blade movie. The man just kicked unholy ass, literally, with vampires, and I loved it so much. I mean, I know the other films didn't work out.
What was the villain's name again? It was
Deacon
Frost.
Deacon Frost.
Deacon Frost, yeah.
You know, and Nomak and
You know, I
Blade
actually
2.
prefer Blade 2.
Well, yeah,
I like
and
Blade 2 even
Guillermo
more.
del Toro. But
Yeah.
the thing is, for me, when I just heard that, I love New Order, and that remix was playing, and Tracy Lords. I mean, come on, when an ex-porn star takes you into a Blood Rave, when a New Order remix is playing, and the blood is coming down, I'm like, that's where I want to go on Friday nights. And then
And you did.
That's right. It's true.
All right.
True.
What's next?
This
Chris
is
is
even
like, who am I
funnier after
sitting
our
next
Fridays.
to?
It's like, I'm going to go home and organize. Rob went to a blood rave. Wow. Sam Fisher, I vote that we call the termite scene in The Boys the human catheter.
No, I think for forever it's just going to be the scene.
Yeah.
Until Herogasm happens, it's just going to be the scene, and that's what everybody's waiting for, right? Episode
I'm
6,
so
Herogasm.
hyped.
Everybody's like, what are they going to do?
I'm scared.
I have like.
I'm actually
how
scared.
far? We're going to find out how far they can actually push things.
Those
This episode.
panels, I am filthy on this show. Those panels are disgusting.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the comics, you
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
I mean, they're so far beyond.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I kind of can't wait.
No, listen, I am so curious to see how are they actually going to do this, because I would have thought they're going to really tone it down until we just saw the
That-
scene. Then it's like, well, maybe they won't tone it. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what it's about. All right, what's next?
From John, hey all, finally got a chance to say congratulations on the new digs.
Oh, thank you.
Also, the film is Velocipaster.
Velocipastor.
Dang
That's
it.
what it is. Not
That's
Raptor
it.
Pastor. It's Velocipastor. You're absolutely right. Yeah, listen, dude. We are.
It's a movie about a pastor who's a velociraptor.
Who gets cursed and he becomes a raptor, a
Oh
velociraptor,
my God.
and eats his enemies. This is the greatest concept ever, right? So, yeah, we are still kind of getting settled in the new digs, but I mean, listen, we're really enjoying the benefits of it, having the space, having the, the areas that we can shoot different shows. It's a lot of fun, to be honest with you, and we're only just getting started. All right, what's next?
We've only just begun.
From Andy, seeing all the merchandising at AdventureCon in Ms. Marvel instantly made me think of Vought, and now I think Scott Lang does cocaine and explodes people.
Listen, I'll tell you what, Aaron brought up the other day, they need to do the Baby Sloth podcast, Ms. Marvel's YouTube channel. They need to put those YouTube videos up. But I'll tell you what else. They've got to get Paul Rudd in and do at least one fake Scott Lang podcast that they were marketing that. They got to do that. It's just too good of an idea. All right, what's next?
From Stubble McShave, could see Talia in Andor, but she's not in Andor, IMDb.
I don't know who.
The woman
She's
on
the
Obi-Wan.
Imperial, like
who's
the-
Oh, she's the Imperial. She's the
Spy,
mother of
yeah.
snakes, mother of
Yeah.
vipers, right? Suppose they could, but I've never heard anything
be
about
a
it,
thing.
so most likely not. All right, what's next?
From Corey, controversial question. Do you think WB is saying isn't saying anything because how it may look because he's in the LGBTQ community?
No, not at all. This is strictly a business thing. It's like, what do we do with? Look, they've got the lead star of their majorly expensive, important film getting themselves into trouble. This is just trying to handle it and trying to keep that. They're trying to manage the PR. I can tell you right now, it has nothing to do with that other thing. Like, not one bit. If this was anybody else, it'd be handled the same way. I mean, anybody else who was the big main lead star of their film,
Yeah.
they would be handled any other way. So yeah. All right, what's next?
From Isaac, going to Jurassic Park 19...
just to back up. If you want proof of that, they had no problem going after Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Right? So that just ends that discussion right there. All right. Now what's next?
From Isaac, going to Jurassic Park 1993, Jurassic World Dominion double feature tonight.
Oh, nice.
No matter what Jurassic World Dominion is, I'm going to have a good night.
You know what? You
get the
will.
first one
And
at
that's
least.
a really good way. That's a good double feature for that.
Especially if
See the
he
original
leaves
one.
midway through.
Listen,
All right.
you get Dr. Ian Malcolm. You get Goldblum at his peak.
Yep.
Ugh.
All right. What's next?
From Collins E. There we go. I predict both Jurassic and Lightyear will do 1 billion.
Jurassic ain't. Not with this word of mouth, because you can't make $1 billion in your first weekend, and this thing is going to take a nosedive after that. So listen, I hope you're right. I want success for all films, because what's good for one film is good for the industry.
John. The kids might love it.
Hopefully, but Lightyear, that could be $1 billion
Yeah,
film.
I think it will be.
All right, what's next?
From Black Rice 19, do you guys think Paramount is having the best year of all with the major studios?
Well,
I
listen,
mean-
Sony has a $2 billion film in Spider-Man, so no. But Paramount's having, hey, it's good to be Paramount right now.
Mm-hmm.
And how many years has it been since we've said that?
Yeah.
No, but Paramount, all of their releases this year have made money. And
Yes, they
Spider-Man
have.
was 2021.
You know what? You're right. Yeah, Spider-Man was 2021.
And-
but still, Disney had a little $900 million film.
Well, yeah.
This is
it's
true.
That's in there
But I
right
mean, in
now.
terms of Paramount's released a lot of movies that they didn't because of the pandemic. And I would say that it's nice to see Paramount in a better position than they
I
have
agree.
been.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. All right, what's next?
From Love Dagerborn, how much will Amber Heard hurt Aquaman 2 box office? And do general moviegoers even care that she's in the movie?
General moviegoers do not care. And I don't think it's actually going to hurt it all that much. Listen, one of the things we as movie fans do a lot, and hey, look, I've been guilty of this. I'll tell you right, I've been guilty of this. I think I'm sincere when I say it, but it eventually movie fans all the time is like, I'm not going to see that for insert reason here. And then they do. And then we do. And look, the reality is this. Amber, from what we found out, because they didn't think there was great chemistry between Mara and Aquaman in it, it's a reduced role anyway.
Well, there wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, so no, honestly, I really don't think it's going to affect it all that much. A little bit, yes, but all that much, probably not. All right, what's next?
From the Robo Producer, John and Crew. Oh, sending in a $20 super chat.
Oh, thank you,
the
Robo Producer.
John and Crew, what is each of your takes on Top Gun Maverick? For me, it's nearly a perfect film. My favorite movie in the last 5 years. Tom Cruise again. Bring on the filthy. Also, why isn't Obi using themes from Star Wars?
Well, we'll just stick to
That's a
the
lot
one
of
question there. We've talked about Top Gun Maverick and given our thoughts on it many times.
Yeah.
Near perfect film? Fuck no. I mean, it's there's some real ridiculous in there, but I love it. I love this movie. I had so much fun. I told you guys about it when I saw the first 15, 18 minutes of it at CinemaCon a year ago, and then we told you about it again when they showed us the whole thing a little over a month ago. The film's great. I mean, I didn't quite work as well for Chris because of her connections and everything, or lack thereof to it. But the rest of us
sanity.
really had a good time with
The
it.
sanity, how dare you? I was born in 1987, man. I don't have the nostalgia for this.
I just want to plead for Regal. If Jurassic bombs the next week, please put Top Gun back in 40X.
40X.
Give me more time to see it in that format.
Okay, that I would
please.
go see in 40X.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to a 40X thing. But Ray texted me the other day. He goes, let's go see Top Gun in 40X. I'm like, you know what? This is probably the movie to see in 40X. But I didn't get
And
a
then we
chance.
couldn't get tickets. It was sold out everywhere.
And then we get, and just to the last thing you wrote there, why not they using general themes? I think Star Wars has faced, we mentioned this the other day, Star Wars has faced criticism before because they over rely on recognizable themes. And I think they're trying to just move away from that. And I get it. I do. All right, what's next?
From Fredo. Hey, cool people. I
Fredo.
love watching you every day.
Oh, thank you, Fredo.
Fredo.
And it's good to have you here every day. And is that it?
That's it.
wait, I got 2 member chats real
Okay,
quick.
sure thing.
Yay, Ray.
Okay, so Sam Fisher writes, wanted to let you all know that I'm going to see Daniel Craig and Ruth Negga in Macbeth tonight. I'm so excited. The last time I saw a celeb in a play was Liz Olsen in Romeo and Juliet.
By the way, Ruth Negga,
Ruth
Ruth
Negga.
Negga is so good.
She's so good.
She's so good. And of course, Daniel Craig, my favorite James Bond of all time. All right.
And I got one more from Ladislav Misinik.
Vladislav?
Yeah, something like that. I'm sorry. My heart is broken for everyone hardworking on the Flash movie. Can't imagine working on something and you read something like this on the news.
Well, I mean, it also sucks when you work on any kind of big project and then you find out that one frickin' Yahoo may hurt all of you. I mean, and that's just one of the things of working on big projects, right? And you're absolutely right about that. All right, guys. That'll do it for today's episode of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all of you guys who sent in those super chats. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved here with the show, thank you guys so much for your support. Don't forget, guys, the John Campea Show returns again tomorrow. We hope you'll join us for that. We got a mailbag coming up a little bit later today. And of course, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, it is time for The Boys After Show. This time, it's going to be featuring Chris Carr and Robert Meyer Burnett talking about the new episode of The Boys. I will not be there because I'm going to be in Las Vegas, of course. All right, guys. For everybody in the room, from Robert Meyer Burnett, Chris Carr, Ray Ora, producer Jonathan Voico, and myself, John Campea, that'll do it for us for now. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.